Howdy! There have been some LEGO sets that have been outright terribly received by fans. Some of these strange sets have been given some of the worst reviews or lowest ratings in LEGO history, and today we're going to try and investigate why that is. What did people hate so much about these particular sets? Were they ugly, frustrating to build, or did they just creep the bejeebers out of people? Well, let's try and figure that out. These are the 10 worst rated LEGO sets. Also, apologies if I sound a bit stuffy in this video. Currently I have COVID, but thanks to vaccines, my symptoms aren't too severe. And just a quick thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Later on, I'll chat a bit about my pleasant experience with them. But for now, let's begin. And starting with number 10, Harry Potter, Aragog and the Dark Forest. I looked around for the lowest rated Harry Potter set, and strangely, Aragog and Harry here were what I stumbled upon. At first I couldn't figure out why they were so low rated, then I realized what it might be. A few people said in their reviews that Aragog looked scary, or they just don't like spiders. Which is understandable, I hate spiders too, I've no issue in squishing them myself.
And if you see me, please don't squish me. I want to be your friend all day long.
In case you don't remember, Aragog was the giant spider friend of Hagrid, who tragically died in the Half-Blood Prince movie. His touching eulogy was performed by Professor Slughorn. His funeral was attended by Harry and Hagrid. And Aragog, obviously, who was dead.
Seriously misunderstood creatures spiders are. It's the eyes, I reckon, they unnerve some folk.
Not to mention the pincers.
But either way, if I ever do a scariest LEGO set list, Aragog here will probably make the list, as the design of this jet black oversized arachnid horror freaked out a surprising amount of people.
Hagrid has never sent men into a hollow before.
And I can't really blame them. I mean, Aragog here looks like a jet black smear on the pavement. Maybe someone already stepped on him? Should I start giving a eulogy? He just looks like a black muddy splooge with a couple of sticks jutting out. I mean, he does capture the ugliness of a spider.
People think I'm scary, but I wouldn't hurt a fly. Oops, oh no.
When I see this, I do want to step on it to make sure it's still dead, but I don't know if that was the original intention. Honestly, overall, I actually quite like the colors and theme to this set. But personally, if I saw this Aragog LEGO in my house, I'd empty 2 cans of bug spray into it and then stomp on it for good measure. Then, out of respect for Hagrid, I would give him a eulogy. Farewell, LEGO Aragog. You were an ugly old splooge.
I'm so sorry, I didn't...
Oh, don't worry yourself, you're not alone.
Number 9. Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Trike vs. Electro. I looked hard and wanted to answer the question, what is the absolute lowest rated LEGO Marvel set? The answer? When LEGO decided to give Spider-Man a trike. A spider trike. This was the absolute lowest rated LEGO Marvel set that I could find on Brickset. But what did people dislike so much about this set? Well, just look at this sad, awkward thing. I think Brickstar summed it up pretty concisely.
This spider trike thing is just like one of the dorkiest vehicles I've seen.
The weird sticks jutting from the back look pretty incomplete and broken. It looks like something that was just fumbled together with spare parts. Not the vehicle of Spider-Man. And as Just Too Good pointed out, I'm pretty sure tricycles are meant to have 3 wheels. Yet this trike has 4 wheels? Even the title is inconsistent and wonky. As well as that, can you honestly ever imagine Spider-Man using this thing in the streets? Yeah, he could just fly around on webs like always, but no, he better use the spider trike. It's about the most uncool thing ever conceived by LEGO. Simultaneously cumbersome and humiliating to the driver. What a combination! And even from a purely visual standpoint, this thing's colors look garish and awful to me. I mean, when I see this, I don't think spider trike, I think farm tractor. Spider-Man the Tractor Farmer. I guess they really did give up being an Avenger. Reviews also mentioned it was very flimsy and fragile too. Plus, Spider-Man keeps falling out of the stupid trike because there's no plate to hold him in. The only real plus to this set I could find was that Electro has a fairly unique, interesting design for a minifigure, with translucent arms and a weird lightning board he stands on. But overall, the Spider Trike is flimsy, simple, awkward, unwieldy, and deeply humiliating to our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And for number 8, Star Wars Ultimate Lightsaber Duel. I'm starting to notice a pattern in LEGO's severe misuse of the word ultimate. Do you remember that high-stakes scene in Star Wars Episode 3 where Obi-Wan confronts Anakin?
You were the chosen one!
Yeah, personally, even as a kid, I didn't like Star Wars Episode 3 at all, but I do understand this is a very meaningful scene to many people. So you'd hope that LEGO really gave this duel some respect and care. But many people just hated this set. It got a 2.8 star rating over 20 reviews. In fact, this is the second lowest rated LEGO Star Wars set that I could find. It might look okay with a lava background, but when you take that advertising box away and just look at the set alone, it's pretty bare bones. The set also had very little accuracy to the original movie. It isn't really based in any area I can remember on the movie, though it apparently seems to be based in Mustafar, the lava planet, similar to the end duel with Anakin and Obi-Wan. It's just a pretty generic random area on Mustafar for Anakin and Obi-Wan to duke it out in their final fight, while also flipping over continually. You see, there was a particularly massive issue that bothered people about this set. Anakin and Obi-Wan had these sticks they were attached to so they could be used to duel, but the second those sticks were attached, they just flipped over, making anyone's attempts to play with these frustrating minifigures an utter failure. In reality, these two kids would be infuriated because their minifigures keep flipping over while they're trying to have their super epic duel.
I just can't get them to stay put.
On the plus side, the set does have its unique novelties. Like when you press on their heads, their sabers light up. Apparently this was a short-lived function, but I don't know why, because it was one of the more unique traits of this set. Overall, I think this set got low ratings from many people because it was very frustrating and disappointing to set up. When you think of one of the most high-stakes, high-budget, heavy-handed, expensive scenes in all of the 9 movies, you don't tend to picture, well, this. But if you are a big fan of this scene, there was another version of this set released in 2020. I guess LEGO was trying to make up for a previously crummy set. In my opinion, it's a more visually vibrant, interesting, lively version of the battle. You can even see little lava burns on each of the figures' clothes. And that's something LEGO buyers really appreciate, consistency with the source material. But perhaps most astonishingly of all in this set,
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Obi-Wan does not have the high ground.
Unfortunately, Obi-Wan has the low ground here.
Number 7. The Humongosaur. Almost unanimously, this is known as one of the most hollow, ugly, chonky looking sets. It's known as a Construction set, which is short for Constructible Action Sets. And as you might have guessed, this originates from Ben 10. Apparently he's been transformed into a humanoid dinosaur? But honestly, half the problem here is I couldn't identify what he is from his LEGO figure. He's so weird and vague looking that you could have told me this guy was an alien janitor and I probably would have believed you. Certainly from the back, he looks half complete. And as Just Too Good pointed out, most poses will make him look pretty shonky. He didn't use the word shonkies, but shonky's an awesome word. Because from every limb at the back, for some reason they've made him hollow. Plus his arms and legs are too lanky for any pose to look good, so he's unlikely to work as a display piece. There's also zero versatility to him too, as many reviewers mentioned that zero of the parts are useful in any set outside this one. The other issue people had is they felt the price was outrageous. Coda in his brick set review called it the biggest ripoff ever, because it cost $15 for 14 pieces. That may not sound like a lot, but that's over $1 per LEGO piece in 2010 dollars. And for a shonky, brown, barely identifiable dinosaur guy, well that's a lot of scratch. Pretty unanimously, LEGO fans felt Humongosaur was a hideous, unversatile, terrible set. The greatest compliment I could see given to this set was that it was interesting for its brown pieces. Humongosaur would probably only be interesting to big fans of Ben 10, as unless you're a fan of the show, you're probably just going to assume this is your average generic 90s action figure. And for number 6, the Technic C-3PO. This Technic version of C-3PO looks a bit different. It seems I wasn't the only one who thought this C-3PO looks like a walking disaster. Clearly this wasn't the droid we were looking for, as these sets barely lasted a year on shelves. Why though? Well, visually, C-3PO has definitely seen better days. Here, he just looks kind of creepy and incomplete. Some reviewers speculated that this was a Technic set that was made 10 years too early, because its Technic design at the time was very strange and rough looking. Most of the time, LEGO managed to capture the essence of the franchise they're doing a set for. But in this case, the completed set just looks kind of uncanny and off-putting to me. What an odd choice to choose mostly black for C-3PO's design. Apparently he's quite rickety too. His knees don't bend at all, and according to reviews, his limbs fall off easily and are hard to put back on. He just looks to be a frustrating experience to build and keep together. Even MC Lego Boy and Cafe Corner both seem to be having a really frustrating time with their sets.
Since this thing really wants to bug me,
probably the biggest plus to this droid is you can press the button in the middle and he blows up. But again, both Cafe Corner and Lego Boy seem to be having a really difficult time getting this stupid button to work. Apparently this fall-apart design is meant to be a callback to when C-3PO got shot.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to intrude. No, please don't get up.
But yeah, low playability on this set, with mostly low reviews. This is definitely among the worst received LEGO Star Wars sets. And before we get to number 5, I wanted to thank NordVPN for sponsoring this video. NordVPN is one of the best virtual private network services that can unlock all sorts of content and protect your privacy with just a simple click. Using NordVPN is very simple. Just open the software, click on any country you'd like, and that's it. Now you can watch all sorts of content from all around the world. With over 5,500 servers in 60 countries, you're safe to explore all sorts of streaming services and YouTube videos with no region locking. And with their program NordLink, you don't even have to worry about lagging. You can also use NordVPN on multiple platforms such as Windows, Android, or iOS. Now when Boo wants to work on his computer at the cafe, he can protect himself from devious hackers. Since when did you have a computer or go to cafes?
Packages include Standard, which includes only NordVPN, Plus, which is NordVPN plus NordPass, and Complete, which is NordVPN, NordPass, and NordLocker. By going through the link in the description, you can benefit from these different bundles.
But whatever you choose, you'll also get a month of protection for free. If you're interested, you can go to nordvpn.com/PhantomStrider. But anyway, thank you for your patience and to Nord for the sponsorship. Let's continue the countdown. Number 5. General Grievous. Well, this is it. According to Brickset, this is the lowest rated Star Wars set of all time. And given just how many LEGO Star Wars sets are out there, that's actually quite the achievement. LEGO making this set puzzled a lot of people, because it was based on a really obscure moment in Star Wars history. It was from the Star Wars Clone Wars series Season 5 episode, A Necessary Bond, where General Grievous is chasing Ahsoka on planet Floron, and looking really badass. This guy's so much more awesome than what we got in the Episode 3 movie. Apparently, there was only one other scene where this speeder was used, and the colors were wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with LEGO giving some attention to this brilliant series that sorely deserves the attention. Like seriously, this series is so much better than the prequels. But it was such an obscure part of the show, it just puzzled people. Now you might be asking, why is Mace Windu here? I don't know why. Did I miss something? Grievous is clearly chasing Ahsoka and the Jedi Initiates in this scene. Mace Windu isn't even in the scene. But at least Mace Windu's face pretty well captures Samuel L. Jackson. But I think people were bothered by the speeder itself being completely inaccurate to the original scene. It was way too big, and even the colors were different. Another thing that bothered people about this set is it felt like a cash grab. As MC Lego Boy pointed out, it was 157 pieces for $30. Sobel from Brickset said it had very little value in pieces compared to other sets of the same price, such as the high-speed chase set, which had 294 pieces for the same price, and LEGO wasn't afraid to take advantage of that. So with all those reasons, this Grievous set was not winning any popularity awards. Number 4. The Eternals Aerial Assault Set. Generally, this Eternals set received mixed to negative reviews. Reviewer Watsonite even called this set eternally flawed. And much like the Eternals movie itself, the only Marvel movie I've ever walked out on, this set just felt like a dud to some people. The minifigures themselves disappointed people quite a bit, mainly because they recycle from a lot of previous parts without much originality. Icarus uses the same face they use for both Hawkeye and Han Solo. and Sprite has the same face as Hermione Granger with Captain America's hair. Though personally, I can't get by Icarus's horrendous looking lasers here. What even are these? Like, if you're of a certain age, you probably know what I think these look like. But come on, you can't blame me. When I see these, I don't think celestial lasers. I think miniaturized versions of the Nimbus 2000 broom toy. And in my opinion, the Flying Deviant itself looks pretty silly. Wholly on film and Just Too Good seemed to think it looked okay.
It honestly gives me sort of Pokemon vibes.
But personally, I thought the colours on this monster deviant just looked dull. There are a few consistent problems I noticed reviewers having. The biggest problem being, most people I found who reviewed this set sounded pretty bored reviewing it. And maybe that was a prime problem people had with this set. Given what a larger-than-life, massive-scale movies The Eternals was intended to be, this set just didn't stand out very much. It's not very vibrant, and the Deviant just looks kinda cheesy and awkward to me. Plus, apparently the set was notoriously tedious to put together. People said the stickers were too meticulous and difficult to apply.
But there's some stickers all over here, which are pretty annoying. You got one at the head right there.
So the process of building was a real pain to many people. On the plus side, if you look at the box alone, visually it does splash out very well. But in general, this remains among the lowest rated Marvel sets I could find. And for our third worst rated LEGO set, the Snap Jet Car. In 1998, LEGO introduced the Snap building sets. Because, you know, Z's make everything cool, right? And while I don't think the Znap range was terrible overall, this thing barely qualifies as a toilet, yet alone a jet car. I mean, look at this thing. How does this even pass for being a car? I think building it from ice cream sticks would make it more car-like. I mean, what LEGO executive looks at this thing and says, "Oh yes, this is going to be the Znap automobile of the century"? Even the word Snap has never worked for me. It sounds more like a bug zapper. Snap. The set itself is incredibly basic, featuring 26 parts that can be built into the thing this box says is the jet car, as well as 2 alternate designs that make a somehow even less coherent shape. Again, what even are these? Although it was generally badly received, sites like Brickit.com did have more mixed reviews. For example, Clockriker said, "There are many models you can build with the pieces from this set. It's easy to build and fun to play with." But then there was more typical reviews, such as this. "The use of it is limited. It's slightly psychotic as well." Psychotic? That would imply this set is even remotely interesting in any way, shape, or form. According to Brick Economy, the set is worth around $10, but you can also buy it on Bricklink or Amazon for $3. And frankly, that price is still blatant daylight robbery. I think I would have found more joy in just burning the $3. And for number 2, the Jack Stone Super Glider. That's a horrendous insult to the word super right there. Over the years, this has been referred to by some as the worst LEGO set ever.
It's just been sitting under my bed for ages, thought I might review it, you know.
Despite the packaging's vain efforts to try and jazz this set up, it falls flat on its face. It comprises of a Jack Stone minifigure and a hang glider. And by hang glider, I mean a flimsy piece of paper attached to 5 LEGO pieces. Jack Stone is unique in that it barely qualifies as LEGO, and it barely qualifies as a toy. It's some weird in-between hybrid. Typically with a LEGO minifigure, you can take it apart. But for some stupid reason, Jack Stone can't be altered at all. They've glued this stupid minifigure together to remove any possible chance of creativity. This alone goes completely against what LEGO stands for. For Pete's sake, in the LEGO movie, that was literally the supervillain's evil plan. To glue every LEGO piece together so they can't be altered.
A way to keep things exactly the way they are supposed to be. Permanently.
One of people's main complaints with this set is the glider, because it's not a LEGO glider at all. It's literally a piece of paper. And generally when you make a LEGO glider, it's meant to be made of, you know, LEGO. I really shouldn't need to explain that typically with LEGO, you know, you like build stuff. And apparently it doesn't actually glide either. So despite the overly dramatic comic it comes with, it's actually false advertising. Because if you drop Jack Stone while he's in his super glider, he's gonna plummet like a rock. Plummeting like a rock, an apt analogy for this set. Just Too Good did a review of this set, and his video's comments did give us some insight into viewer feedback on this set. The worst set they have ever seen. Looks like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy. If I wanted this set, I'd just cut a piece of paper and tape a G.I. Joe to it. Or the paper was probably intended to be used as toilet paper. And the number one worst rated LEGO set is Galador Nick. Ah, Galador. You've left such an explosive burning wreckage in the wake of your failure that we can still see the flames even 20 years later. This 3-piece set was intended to be a promotional gift from McDonald's in 2002. And you know when your LEGO's considered garbage even by Happy Meal toy standards, well that's some seriously bad reviews. Despite being over 20 years old, the current value for a new and sealed Nick is estimated to be approximately $5 US, with an average yearly gain of about 8%. $5 US, oh boy, yet this is somehow still higher value than other Galador sets. As I mentioned in LEGO's worst failures, LEGO originally had big plans for a new toy line named Galador. Sure, the live-action TV series was hilariously badly written, but with all respects to LEGO, back in the day, they didn't have much business common sense. This was the same company that made a set that cost them more to make than they could sell it for. So Galador was another of their fascinatingly silly decisions at the time.
Plans were being put in place to make Galador a success, including a TV show, video games, and comics.
Part of what many people disliked about this LEGO Galador figure was he looked so foreign to anything else LEGO had ever produced. To quote a commenter, it looks more like a Chinese bootleg toy assembled by the blind then warped in the microwave for a few minutes. What's with this stupid helmet anyway? It's just so unappealing to look at. Everything about this screams cheap plastic McDonald's junk, not really LEGO.
You can build the rocket. Place the astronaut.
Galador consists of 3 whole pieces to put together: the head, the torso, and the legs. So the build wasn't really a LEGO build. It's pretty hard to mess this one up. This was one of the few sets I could find without a single review of anyone who liked it. Oh wait, apparently this guy thought the set looked awesome. In the trash. Oh, never mind. And finally, it's an insult to the original actor of Nick in the show. I may not have liked the script he was given, but there was nothing wrong with how this man looked on set. But this set's an insult to the actor with how warped, unappealing, and weird it looks. On a side note, respects to this actor.
I don't think the neighbors are ready for a giant philosophical frog doing the backstroke in our pool.
He has taken the last 20 years of critic roasting in stride, and this is certainly not an attack on him, just a LEGO set very loosely based on him. In terms of LEGO sets, I could not find a single set that has been as badly received as Nick from Galador. The toy line was a massive bomb and an even bigger financial bomb for LEGO. And thank you for joining me to explore these horribly rated LEGO sets. And if you think I missed a particularly bad set or you have your own thoughts on these lousy sets, feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Ha ha ha, you won't stop me filming, coronavirus.